So Evolution Nutrition is the company that we've partnered with to be able to bring you access to all these databases, recipes, and different customizable options. Now, previously, we had an Excel sheet for you guys inside of the Tactical Nutrition and Performance database, and it's actually still there, where you can actually set up your meal planning in there. This essentially is just a fancier version of that. So once you've got your login information, the first thing you want to do is set up your profile. Now, my profile is already set up, but you'll want to go in and enter all of your information, your age, gender, height, weight, what your average activity level is, how many meals per day on average you eat, and what goal it is that you're working towards. And if you have any specific nutrition parameters that you want to stick to, those will be in here as well. And you can click any of those and then hit save. Once you've done that, I would recommend that you go through the different questions here regarding your nutrition goals, your activity levels, and make sure that periodically you're coming back in here to update this. The nice thing about this is that once you've done it once, it will save your information and then you can do it again periodically. This is a nice way to see your progress in terms of your nutrition programming, your activity levels, and how you would essentially rate yourself in terms of hunger, eating habits, stress, and over time, you can see how that's going to improve. You even have the option of putting in different pictures of yourself. If you want to do progress pics, which is something that I do with my one-on-one clients, you can upload those into this tracker as well. And it provides sort of a nice progression or transformation timeline for you, specific to whatever goal it is that you're working on. So once that's completed, you're going to be prompted to start your first meal plan. Or you can click on My Plans. And right up here in the corner, you want to start by creating a self-service plan. Now, this software, what it will do is based on the information that you put in your profile, will make a recommendation on calorie intake. Now, remember that I set mine for body fat loss and for low glycemic. So what you're seeing here is a nice little calorie deficit with almost a 1-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein. When this information has been set, you don't necessarily need to use the numbers that they gave you. If you are using some of the spreadsheets or the techniques from the Tactical Nutrition and Performance database and you want to customize your calories and your macros, you will absolutely have the option to do that. So we're going to go up here to create a self-service plan, and we're going to click on that one just to get started. Now, you do have the option of requesting a pro plan. And remember, that is an upgrade to your service where you can schedule a one-time session with myself to build out that first plan for you. Or if later on down the road, you'd like to schedule a session, then you can click request a pro plan there. When you request a pro plan, once you have paid for that session, you'll be prompted to fill out some questionnaires about your training history, your health history, your nutrition history. And from there, we can start building out your customized plan. However, for our purposes here today, we're just going to be creating a self-service plan. So step 1 in creating your plan is just to name that plan. So we're just going to name this test plan 2 for right now, but you can name it anything you want. If you're doing weight loss, you can put weight loss and the month that you're doing it in there if you want. You can name it something pithy or cool if you would like to, whatever you want to do. Now, like I said, it will default to custom macros and calories based on what you set up in your profile. But if you click the customize button here, you can switch those around a little bit. You can change how many meals a day you're eating. You can switch around the calorie range. We have macro percentages over here that you can use if you're wanting to utilize that, and then different types of diets over here as well. So you even have some gluten and soy-free, glucose, lactose, and soy-free, holistic nutrition, keto with a protein focus. There's a keto one in here, low glycemic, Mediterranean, paleo, and even some vegan and vegetarian meal plans in here for you to use. So right now I'm just going to set it for all, and macro profile right here. I'm going to just leave that for all as well. And what I'm going to be shooting for when I'm looking for the meal plan that fits me, the pre-made automated meal plan that fits me, is I'm going to be looking for that 1-to-1 fueling ratio. Now, if you're unfamiliar with fueling ratios, just make sure you're going back into the performance nutrition section and checking out those videos regarding protein intake, carbohydrate intake, and fueling ratios so that you understand how to structure your meal plan. Now, I can also go in here, and if I'm aiming for a 1-to-1 ratio, they're not going to have an exact match in here, but I can find the one that's closest. And when it pulls up the different database of meal plans, I should be able to find one that's close. Now, the nice thing about these are all customizable as well. So as I'm searching through here, all of these plans are going to essentially be close to what I was aiming for my total calories, my number of meals per day, and whatnot. And I'm just going to pick a random one. Let's say up here, we're going to go with roughly 4 meals per day, 1,600 calories, and close to a 1-to-1 ratio of my proteins and my carbs. So as I open this, I can look through it by clicking through the different meals. I can look through the different days. And what you're going to see at the top here is this bar for each day is going to show you your total calorie intake and macros for any given day. Whereas this bar down here will show you your total calories and macros for any given meal. Now, once you've looked through this, if this is a meal plan that you want to utilize and you're seeing things that you enjoy eating or that would be easy for you to make and you're pleased with it, you can select it as is. If there's items in there that you would like to change, then we just want to hit select and edit. So for instance, if you maybe have an allergy to let's see, I think I saw shrimp in here somewhere. Let's just say tuna. Let's say you're not a big fan of tuna. You can actually delete this item out and you can add in a different type of food. And this database is relatively large. So let's say instead of that, we wanted to do, let's say, pork. When you put in your food item here, you're going to see just that singular food item that you can add in, or you will also have the option to choose different types of recipes that contain those ingredients. And when you open up the recipe, you're going to be able to see ingredients, instructions. You can select this recipe if you like. So this is just baked pork chops. So I'm going to put that in there. And you're going to want to add serving size. So we want to do just 1 serving on that. And you can see 1 serving is 237 calories, 0 grams of carbs, 24 grams of fat, 24 grams of protein and 15 grams of fat. And for the total meal, that brings our total up to 411. And then you see your total macros over here as well. So nice balanced meal. We're going to save changes. And now you can see my baked pork chop recipe is right there. Now, if I'm happy with that, I'm going to save changes. If you want to make additional changes to your meal plan at any time, you can simply just click and open. You can review it, and then you can edit it as needed. Here, if you want to see an entire day at a snapshot, you can definitely see that as well. Now, once you have completed that plan, you can print it. And on your printout, what you're going to see is it's going to be laid out by individual day and meal, you're going to see your exact measurements here and the calories it contains. And then per meal, you're going to be able to see what your macro breakdown also looks like. And each day is going to have some variation. So again, you're going to get a little bit of variety here. If there's one particular day that you like, you can just stick with a single day. Your recipes are going to be printed as well. Your nutrition facts for your recipes will also be included so that you can use those over and over again for any meal plan that you're on. And as we get to the very bottom, you are also going to see a shopping list that you can utilize for the entire week. Everything that you would need to cook every meal in there. And those are broken down by category. And then you're going to have this nice handy portion guide as well, which can be beneficial if you don't necessarily have access to a food scale or you're not looking to necessarily have to weigh things out every single day. Remember that if you're new to meal planning, it can be really beneficial to weigh stuff and measure stuff in the beginning to make sure that you're tracking accurately and that you're keeping your meal plan inside of those left and right limits that you've set for yourself as needed. But also, we want to evolve to a place where we're able to just visually know how much food is on our plate. That's part of learning the skill of nutrition, is knowing exactly how much nutrition or how much nutrients is in an individual serving size or a certain portion, so that when you're eating at a restaurant or you're preparing food at home, you don't always have to be measuring out super tediously. All right. So once you've done that, you've started following your plan. Oh, excuse me. You can make this your current plan. And each time you do something new in here, you're going to get these little quick steps again. And once you've set this as your primary plan, you can then start your plan. So the nice thing about this is that when you have started your plan, it will track essentially how on progress or essentially what you've been doing, right? So if you're tracking a single day and you ate it exactly as portioned, you can click ate it, you can click skipped it, or you can say that you've made specific changes. This can be helpful over time, even if you're doing your own meal planning, to help you understand what's working well for you. When you're making changes, remember that a meal plan is meant to help provide you with structure and meant to help provide you with guidance on what you should be doing with your nutrition. It's essentially a baseline of how you should be eating. If we deviate from the meal plan, that's not a huge deal. But if we have specific goals that we're trying to hit, we want to make sure that we're not deviating too far, or that we understand how our deviations are affecting our progress towards our goals. All right. And when you do it with changes, you can see here that you have delete, you can add. Now, an interesting thing about this too is if you would like, you can edit your meal times and your meal labels. So that will come in handy if you're trying to customize out your meal plan a little bit more.